Hi.
You know,
Good. How are you?
refreshed from your vacation.
Well, I was, but now my son is about to go off to college. So,
Break's over.
oh, my
Oh,
nerves. He's so ready though.
I bet.
He is so ready. How are you?
I'm good. Tired. I was kind of feeling sick today at the office. So I was just like, I came home and it's like no point in me sitting in the office for a couple of hours and more and not feeling well. So I just went home and I was like, I'm going to sleep. So feeling better, but it's
Oh,
just a weird
okay.
off day. I slept till about 4 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like it was like a kind of almost like a hangover feeling, but I didn't drink any alcohol last night, so I was like, I don't don't know what's going on. If it's a
Yeah.
bug or what, but yeah, I was out for the count today. I was asleep most of the day.
Okay. So
What's
how
up,
many
everybody?
oh, days do you
Mm-mm.
go to the office?
What'd you say?
How many days do you go to the office?
Two now, starting this week. So we were one, and now it's bumped up to two. So
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
but my boss is pretty cool. Like she doesn't put a timer on how long we're there, so I can literally go for like 3, 4 hours and be like, "Peace out." So
Okay.
I have
I was
satisfied
in
my
there.
obligation, peace and blessings.
That's it, exactly. That's exactly it. I'm out of here. Yeah, today was a short day. I was there for a long time yesterday because I had that book event at 6:30, and I was like, I'm not going all the way back to Gwinnett to go back to Sandy Springs. I'm just gonna go from Tucker to Sandy Springs and call it a day. So
Yeah.
I was there till like from like 10 to 5, which is long for me. Like I haven't been there in a full day in a long time. All right, people are coming. I feel like we haven't had book club chat in a long time, but I mean I know it's been a month, but it just feels
It does feel like it's been a
it
longer
has.
than
Feels like
usual.
it's been a long time. I keep forgetting life, like school started back this week, and I'm just trying to keep up with life. I'm like, what is happening? I need to look at my calendar and see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's school, it's the Olympics, it's political craziness. It's
It
like
is. It's a lot of stuff
it's
going
all the
on.
things. Yeah.
On top of life in general, right? It's just like, yeah, it's all those things. I've been keeping up with the Olympics pretty well too. Check out the calendar every day and I'm like, okay, what do I need to watch? Especially track and gymnastics. Those have been the top two. But I find myself like I was watching wrestling not too long ago. And the synchronized swimming, I know it's called something else now, but yeah, I've been watching quite a bit of different things.
It's artistic swimming.
There we go. I was like, and then somebody said that too. They were like artistic swimming, and they said it used to be called synchronized swimming, but
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So I watched the technical round, I guess it was yesterday or day before. And
Mhm.
so now I gotta go watch the replay of the artistic because apparently the USA did much better
I missed their
today.
performance. I was watching France, I think, when it was on. There's a lot that goes on in those things.
Yes, it's a lot.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't know if anybody else is hopping on. All right, or they will. They'll come later. Of course, we're talking about Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. I absolutely love this. I thought it was super cute. With some spice in there. I think again, starting off with like the first paragraph pages, something like that. I always get try. At least these books now I know not to like. I knew what I was kind of jumping into anyway, so I knew not to listen to it out loud or anything like that. But I'm like, boy, they don't play no games. They just dive headfirst right into these things. So, um, what were y'all's general thoughts of the book?
I loved it as well.
I also love books that like aren't your typical skinny, perfect woman. Like I love the fact that, it's based on a curvy woman, someone that looks more like myself, can be appreciated. Now, I did want to throw hands at that uncle. But that guy right there, the whole book, I'm just like, dude, like, what are we doing? Like, I
I'm
really
just trying to help you.
What'd you
I'm
say?
just I'm just looking
Yeah.
out. I'm just looking out for you.
Yeah, like you gotta understand that we live in a different time now. And, being supermodel skinny is not the wave anymore. Like people are getting BBLs. Like it's just a sign of the times that curves are in right now. So yeah, it's just kind of like, Unc, I need you to kind of join, get with the times and figure life out.
And I'll say some curves are in. So like as a big girl, like this book was very like I had to stop at times because I was like, whoo, like it mirrored life a bit too much. It mirrored dating app experiences a bit too much. Because it kind of became clear during the book that maybe she was a little more curvy hips and butt, which is more acceptable. Stomach curves are still not, right? And you
That's
get
true.
very different reactions, right?
Yeah.
That was still an interesting kind of thing there. But yeah. So yeah, I would say some curves are in
That's a
like,
good point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. Any other general thoughts? I really did like Ahmad though. Um, I find these little book boyfriends, and I really appreciated him and how he looked out for her, and it was cool to see how they evolved and they were starting to catch feelings. But it's like, is this really how I'm feeling, or is it not, or is it a friendship, or is he really looking out, or just I loved that the way that because dating can be hard, and it's just you never know what's out there, what you're walking into. So I love that they had that game plan of like every Friday, bring your dates here so that I can kind of be, an eye out and have your back kind of thing. And I love that. And I loved how they built their relationship around that.
Yeah, I did too. I really liked how he looked out for her. He frustrated me at the same time though, because it
Yeah.
was like, sir, what are we doing?
Blocking, man.
Yeah.
Like, you clearly like her,
Right.
clearly like her. And I would say the one, like, one of my knocks, which I love the book, but we could have gotten to this is what happened with my,
The marriage. Yeah, the
yeah,
fiance. Yeah,
before,
the
so that
fiance.
we
Yeah.
could get them like actually going on a date or two. I always like for the love interest who, end up getting together. I like to get just a little bit of their actual interactions,
Yeah.
a couple.
Right.
So I would like, just a chapter or two of that, but overall, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was almost too much of a slow burn, but I agree. Like there were so many instances where he could have just came out and said it. Like I was hoping one of his friends would like slip up when they all went out to that club or whatever it was. Like
Yeah,
somebody
or
just
his
say something.
sister.
Everybody can see as a parent that he's protective of her or whatever. But y'all are leading this girl to believe that he's married. And I mean, it makes sense that he wears the ring, for his job and stuff like that. Kind of keeps the girls at bay or whatever. But like somebody just tell the truth. Tell her
They
what it
were both
is.
like holding out though, right? Like she was like, I really, really need you to say something. And he like, even every time he was like, tell me what you want, tell me what you want. And I'm like, girl, tell him, like,
Yeah.
somebody say something.
And I feel like this because she mentioned him being married, I think a couple times to the sister, and it was like she finally, disclosed what had happened, but it was like she let it slide a couple times when she was like, well, he's married and I don't want to like, get involved with that. And it was just kind of she let it ride. It's like I get that you're trying to respect your brother and let him tell her on his own time, but at the same time, it's like you see the connection with your own eyes. This girl's coming in there every Friday. You see what's going on. Like somebody say something.
Yeah.
I like the friend groups. That's one of my favorite things in a book where there's really strong friend groups. And so I love that he had his clique and she had hers. I really enjoyed their interactions.
Same. I love that. What's another the Boyfriend Project series is another one where I think of by Farrah Rashan, where I love the friendship that those girls built, like basically out of turmoil of dating the same guy. But yeah, I love how those friendships evolve and those sisterhoods are built. And I loved his friends too. I loved their relationship and how they engaged with her too when they met her.
I almost
Yeah.
wonder if Danielle is going to kind of do some spinoffs from this, because she was giving like just enough about the friends' lives.
Mhm.
I felt like, it was a setup for, potentially, not that she's
Yep,
absolutely going to do it,
I
but
agree.
just
Hmm.
a little
There's
nugget.
room.
Yeah, she was,
Yeah.
give just enough to make us feel like, So I do wonder.
Yeah, I can see her doing that. You know, she's had a couple of series, but I also think with Ashley Antoinette being the force behind her getting this official publishing house book, you know, she's like the series queen. And
Mm.
I think that she would set it up that she could make a series with the like each of the friends, the women friends having their own story.
Yeah.
And hopefully this book has been supported enough where the publisher comes back and says, like, we want you to continue on with this and get more, give her a bigger deal
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
to write future books.
It still was really odd to me that it went on Kindle Unlimited so soon after
Yeah.
publishing for it to have been a traditional release. Like that was
Hmm.
odd.
Yeah, it went the same day.
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
was
well,
like,
Wow.
I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it. So yeah, it went the same day. I was like, wait a minute now.
Right. I'd have been salty, like, return, please.
I kept it.
That's me too.
My
Yeah.
indie girls, I give them a few dollars every year.
Yeah. That was the same thing
Yeah,
too. I
I
bought the
kept it too.
audiobook and found out, I think it
I
was on,
read the art.
go ahead, Erica.
I was saying I didn't remember that I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered like as soon as she announced it because I get her newsletter and everything. So it had
Mm.
been like a year, but I had already read the arc and I had the ebook for that. So when it went through, I was like, oh, I have two copies. And then when it was released, I bought the Audible and I listened to
Yeah.
it. So I read it that second time. So I'm like, I have like 3 copies of it now. But I was like, I'll just keep them all.
That was the same. I think it was on Everend for free, which I have a subscription to that. But then I'd already bought the audiobook, but I was like, you know what? I don't even care. It's probably something I'll read again. I don't mind supporting her. So I was like, I'll just keep it, or whatever. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, because she's a big Kindle Unlimited author, I think she was, doing that for her core fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that affects their money though, like how they get paid. Like, I don't know. I would love to know the
The
breakdown of,
indie authors say they get pennies. I think a
Yep.
lot of them is the
wow, when it's on
exposure.
KU.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they
So
get paid by how many pages are read.
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
when, a lot of the authors where I started on Kindle Unlimited, but they'll now sell through their website, like Christina C. Jones, I always buy directly from her.
Yeah.
Alexandria House, just because they're getting more of the money. But I think a lot of them are just trying to get the fan base and get their work out there with the hopes that they can have like this Cinderella story like Danielle, where they finally get picked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they complain that they don't make much, like just a couple cents on the dollar when they do it that way.
That makes me wish that she had held off from putting it on KU then. Like, that makes more sense why y'all are saying that, because I'm sure a ton of people would have supported this book from the jump.
And
Yeah.
when it's on KU, they're restricted on what other websites they can even sell it on. So if it's on
Wow.
KU, I don't think they can even sell the book on their own platform for like a certain amount of time. Like there's like a non-compete. They basically are under non-compete clauses for certain periods of time if it's a KU.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I know. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to want to do that then, because I feel like and I get for certain indie authors, like it's a great way for them to make money if they're not, pulling in money like that. But that sucks. Like, and not even to be able to sell it on other platforms too. Like, that really locks you down.
That's why you'll see them like putting, like Christina C. Jones, she'll put a book on and say, all right, I'm putting this on KU for like 2 months. Y'all better read it now, I'm taking it back off.
Yeah, so
They'll
she
do
can get
stuff
the
like
profit.
that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope Danielle Allen does that too, because I feel like this book just I'm sure it's had a lot of support. I've seen a lot of people reading it. And so, Yeah, I want her to make her coins.
Me too. Me
Wow.
too. I think of something else in the book. That uncle, like y'all said, he got on my last nerve. And I just couldn't understand why the family even let him keep running his mouth.
Yes, the
Like my daddy,
parents.
especially because that was, that was her mom's brother. My dad would have been like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah. And even like the grandma was the only one that like really said something, but I'm just like, yeah, he and over again. And I'm looking out for your best interests. And like, wasn't he divorced or something like that? She's like,
3
Several
times.
"Why don't I
times,
take
yes,
advice from you?"
several times.
Like, obviously nothing you're doing is working. So who are you to give me advice?
3 times. And I'm like, what does this yacht look like?
Right. That part. So much so that you're holding it over my head about this yacht.
The other thing I really enjoyed was the way they teased each other, her like Aaliyah and Ahmad, and the jokes and
Oh
calling her the
yeah.
green M&M and all that stuff. I loved their banter. It
Yeah.
was really funny to me.
Yeah.
I also would have felt some type of way about the yacht. Like, you're giving it to me as a like the second prize. You know what I mean? Like, I get that her sister passed away and stuff like that, but it was like, that's the chosen one. That's the one you gave it to. So now all of a sudden it's like she's passed away. So now you want to give it to me. Like, I don't know. I felt some type of way about that. I'm like, if it wasn't initially meant for me, then it ain't
Yeah.
meant for me. Like, just keep it.
It
Especially if
was
you're gonna
still
say all these bad things about me.
mhm. It was still interesting too. Just that like marriage is still like the box that has to be checked before you're worthy, right? So it's not that you have a career, you have a home, you're happy, you're peaceful, you've healed from childhood traumas, right? Like, like you're doing all the things, but it's like still, it's not until you're married that, like in his case, you can qualify for this inheritance or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And then it really is a thing that, like you hear so many messages that you will not get married if you're a big girl, right? Like, people are like, men will put up with kids and baby daddies and all kinds of things, but not a big woman. Like that is
Yeah.
very interesting in, I think it's different from in different cultures, but yeah.
Yeah. And
There
then
was
the
something
whole
on.
by 30 thing. It was, get
Yeah.
married, have kids by 30.
Mhm.
And that's been such a weird standard for so long, because I can recall, like, years ago, that in my head I just knew that by 30 I would be all of those, would have done all of those things. I haven't at all. I just turned 40 this summer. So but that 30 is, that's the mark for whatever reason, whoever came up with that number.
It's a different time. People are having babies later, they're getting married later, they're establishing their careers and their lives and self first before they're doing all that, which I absolutely love. Like,
Yeah.
get to know yourself, get to know what you like and dislike, get settled in your careers before you do all of that stuff. Because as someone who got married at 26, I was divorced by 20, or I had kids at 28 and was divorced by 30, like, or 29, something like that. So it was like, I mean, obviously I love my kids and stuff like that and don't regret that, but I wish that I had waited till I was older. And truly, we never stop evolving, but at least a good chunk of my evolving would have been done in my 20s before I got married and things like that. And I think relationships will have a better chance of lasting. But yeah.
Or you can get married at 37 and be divorced by 42. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Right.
Hey,
Or
y'all, stop them late.
33 and be divorced by 39. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember being at a party one time with coworkers, and the one girl, she had her son when she was like 15. And so all of us was like worrying about babysitters and stuff. And she was like, I'm so glad I was a teen mom and got it out the way. She was like, my son don't even need a babysitter. Everybody looked at her like, what?
Right.
But she was like, I'm glad I'm done with all the little kid stuff. And I was like, Because one of my closest friends, she has 4 sons. and 3 of them she had by the time we graduated high school. And so when I'm sitting here buying back to school supplies and like she's empty nesting it, I'm like, oh, maybe she was on to something.
I just can't even imagine though, like being in my early 20s and teens, taking care of a kid. Like you're still a kid
Yeah.
yourself. Like I just can't even maturity
Multiple.
level. I
You
don't
are.
know.
Yeah.
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 Like
I was
I
able
And it
to-
was so common at my high school, like the school I went to, they actually had a daycare in the building.
wow.
And like some of us would take like an elective class, and that would be one of our classes. Like I did a semester in the daycare at the
Wow, to take
school.
care of the kid.
Yeah, we were the
Wow.
teachers. Like they would, had
Wow.
like 1 or 2 regular staff, but it would be your elective for the semester if you picked it to be in the daycare. And a lot of my friends had kids in high school, and and then they had that option to bring their kid to school, and they would
Wow.
be safe.
I can appreciate that, there's some
Yeah.
schools that shun girls for getting pregnant and stuff like that, and just it's an uncomfortable situation. So, it's nice that they had
Yeah.
something like that to make them feel more comfortable and safe and be able to focus, and not have to worry about babysitters and trying to pay for daycares and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved when she had the conversation with her parents. I thought that was just a lot of like vulnerability, very brave. Because I think sometimes our parents don't know how expectations translate for us and make us feel. And it was just such a kind of beautiful healing moment, I think, for her, the mom and the dad. Um, and it just was a nice like model of how to have, conversations about those kinds of expectations and things.
Yeah, I agree. Because they had put so much of her sister's dreams and ambitions and things on her shoulders. And it's kind of like, I'm not my sister. Like, we're different people. We do things different ways. So I like that she had that conversation. Like, listen, y'all got to stop. Let me live my life the way that I want to do it and not how you want me to live it.
And you put that
Yeah.
kind of pressure on somebody, and then I don't want to get us too political, but then you hear the comments that they're making now about, oh, the childless cat ladies and all of these different things, and like how the vice presidential candidate on the GOP side's wife said, well, he didn't mean people who actively choose not to have children. He meant, the people who can't have them. He meant people who don't actively choose. Well, sometimes you don't know until you start trying.
Right.
Whether you can or you can't. Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so even putting that kind of pressure on her, and then it turns into, well, I'm having trouble doing it, and I'm, whatever it might be, like there's an expectation that I feel like it's generational, of course, because it used to be you had kids because you had land to work and you needed even, when our grandparents and grandparents were sharecroppers, they had a bunch of kids because they needed more hands out there helping them. They didn't have choice in their reproduction either. They didn't have contraception and all these other things.
Right.
And so you can't have 12 kids now. You cannot afford 12 kids now. So
Sure you can. Just ask Kiki Wyatt.
girl, ask Kiki and see if you can get a clear sentence out of her mouth.
Right.
Without her doing her little countdown when she sings "If Only You Knew" and all of the runs that she does. But anyway, but it's not. It's just a different world that we're in now, and to put that kind of pressure on somebody like, you got to give us a grandbaby. Well,
yeah.
what if I can't? Then
Right.
what? Then am I
what?
worthless?
Yeah, I don't
We
think
can't
they
talk about
realize.
okay,
I don't think they realize, not even the pressure, but how you make someone feel worthless when you put that kind of pressure
value, yeah,
on them, right? Like,
I remember having a job. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I stopped even asking women that question when they got married. Like, so when you gonna have kids? Because
yes,
lo and behold, one of my friends, she had a miscarriage. I didn't know because it's something she didn't share, and I was like, you know what?
yeah,
Not that question again, because you just never know what women are going through. You know, they want kids and they can't. So, but yeah, just
And I think even just watching the Olympics, seeing Simone Biles, that question keeps coming up, like, what's next for you? And it's like, dude, I just won gold medals. Like,
right,
leave me alone.
right.
How about, just let me enjoy the moment, enjoy the fact that I've done this, that I'm the most decorated gymnast. It's just like, just let me be in this moment and enjoy it without having to think of what's the immediate next thing that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I agree in the same way with building families and what women are going to do, when you're going to get married, when you're going to start dating. It's just like, just let us be. Like,
Yeah. When my younger brother got married, so he's been married 3 years now, I think. But the pastor during their ceremony specifically said, like, do not pressure them about when they're having kids. They want to enjoy themselves first. They will have kids when they have kids.
yeah,
And I don't think, as far as I know, that anybody has pressured them, because we know them. We're like, oh yeah, they trying to be outside together.
right. Travel, go to
Like,
concerts.
they are kicking it hard together. They don't need
Yeah,
no kids because they're not trying to sit down. And they're
right,
35.
right.
No, they're 34. They're 34. They're
Yeah,
like, we are having a good time. We will have kids when we have
yeah.
kids.
Let them enjoy it.
I could appreciate that the pastor was like, don't even start.
Right.
You
Let
know
them-
it was going to start.
yeah,
Immediately.
Mhm.
yeah. Like when you get engaged now, when's the wedding? And then as soon as you get married, it's like when you having kids, like, dude, I just got married 5 minutes ago. Like, please let me just enjoy that moment. And so all that to say, Simone was a good reminder of like, let's just be in the moment and not really worry about what's happening in the future, what's happening next. Like, let's just be present and enjoy what's happening here and now. She's
Yeah.
like, what's next is I'm gonna babysit these medals. How about that? Like, that was a great response. I love that. I'm gonna babysit these medals.
Right. I'm gonna enjoy that I just won more medals.
And I think people with her, like she's a newlywed, so people are like, are you gonna retire? Are you gonna start having kids? So I think there's a lot of questions as to what's next, but that's her business. Like, let her be. Let her figure that out.
Yeah.
And if she wants to have kids and then come back to the Olympics in 4 years, she can do that too.
Yep.
With the book, it killed me, the the trifling men that she was going on these dates with.
The married.
My God.
And they were all from Atlanta, every one of them.
Every last one of them.
They're from Louisiana too. They're from everywhere.
These jokers, boy.
I mean, you didn't kill your wife off.
Right. Yeah, she's a widow. Like, this the widow that's walking in right now.
Did I tell her that she did? I mean,
Right.
And she was nice not to tell that lady that.
Right.
I would have been
She
like,
would've been like,
he said you were dead.
Right.
She was
Get
like,
him in
I
more
didn't want to
trouble.
say. I would have said it.
Might as well throw you under the bus since you done
Right.
blown
right.
this shit up.
It was just like, geez, could you get any work? Listen, that's what keeps me off the apps sometimes. I just be like, let me just be over here in La La Land because I cannot.
It's
Yeah.
trash.
That's why I had to get out of those sis is this your man groups, because the amount of negativity that was in there, I was like, mm-mm.
Yes.
I got in one last week and I told my friend, why did you even show me this foolishness? It is awful. Every day it's like one
I
lady was
mean,
like, oh, for whoever posted my man, he's laying next to me right now with his CPAP machine on, keeping me up. And everybody's
I
like,
can't.
why are you proud of that?
Honey, that's channeling that moking stuff. He's mine. You may have had him once.
I got them all the
People
time,
like,
right?
this is not the flex you think it is. That
Right.
They were
I'm
like, yeah,
like,
because my daddy came home every night too. What are you saying, sis?
right.
He's at home next to you with the CPAP. That mean he went out there doing some dirt earlier in the day. You the one
Right.
losing sleep with him sleeping sitting in that CPAP machine. I was like, I gotta get
He
out of
needs a
this.
new machine because mine is silent.
That's what somebody else said in the comments, Keela. They were like, well, clearly he's not taking care of home, because if he was a real man, he'd have a silent CPAP machine. The comments went off. Like, sometimes I'm like, I'm getting out of this, but then sometimes I crack up at the comments and I'm like, I might just stay.
Yeah.
That
The-
one time, I think it was one of y'all sent me someone or sent us someone, and it was a guy that I knew. I can't remember how I got, because I'm not in any of those groups. But yeah, it was a guy that I knew from college. And I'm not surprised that he was in that group. It
yeah.
was so to me that I had to go send it to them, my college friends. Like, girl, guess who got
Yeah, it says she's in the chat asking what's tea on my man, but he's in our bed, faithful and snoring with a CPAP that sounds like a lawnmower. And people are like, sis, that's not a flex.
It's not.
At all.
But she posted it anonymously, of course. But anyway,
Mm. Hot
I
mess.
was late. Did y'all talk about Uncle Al before I got
Yeah, a
on?
little bit. I mean, we touched on him a
Yeah.
little bit and just
She put up with way too much in these conversations with these folks.
yeah, I agree.
And throwing this yacht in her face. But
That's what I said. I was like, I think Asia said she wanted to see what that yacht looked like because, like, really, you're making it such a big ordeal.
right.
What does this thing look like? Is it worth it?
Girl, no, you already know it wasn't. I could just picture it in my head.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was quite the character, but
I don't think
slow
about
burner.
would
What you
play
saying?
her. Like if it was a movie, who or a series or whatever, who would play her?
I could see Amber P. Riley
Mm.
or the other girl that looks like
looks like
reminds
her,
you of
right.
Amber Raven, somebody
Yeah.
that was
Raven.
Raven
on
Goodwin.
yes, that was on Being Mary Jane. I could even see now she's working to lose all her weight, but Danielle Brooks.
I was
would
gonna say
also-
Oh
Keela's
yeah, I
church
love
member.
Danielle. Yes.
Yeah, but
She's
she
still
getting
it's
so
Topeka's
fit on
church
that.
Oh,
member.
Topeka. That's Topeka's. Okay.
But she's still gonna have those curves, so it would work
Mhm.
for her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love her. She's so funny.
Yeah, but I definitely could see Amber P. Riley just bodying that role. Because she's so funny and she has so much range.
Yeah, she would be a good one.
I think I thought about Danielle too, because Danielle she can make the faces and I think she has a comedic sense about her too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both would be good. I haven't seen Amber P. Riley in something major like since Glee that I can think of. She was
Other
hilarious.
than that single black female.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
both those movies.
Aren't they
King and the
bringing another
Wiz.
one or something?
They did too.
When
Are
they
they doing
did-
another one?
I felt like, or maybe the second one is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
She was just what play did I see this summer? The Preacher's Wife.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Preacher's Wife. She was in that. And I know she did the Wiz when it was on TV because I remember Leo was about 5 and I tried to get her to stay awake. She was so excited, but she didn't make it. She's always been the type to the bed early. And she was like sitting there trying to hold her eyes open and she couldn't stay awake.
What's the friend from the crazy one from Insecure?
Oh,
Kelly.
Natasha
she would be good.
Rockwell.
Natasha,
Yeah.
Natasha.
Natasha.
Rockwell or
She would be
whatever her
good. I
last
think
name
she'd be
is.
good too.
I love her. I haven't seen her on. I used to see her on Twitter all the time. She used to have this countdown of when Donald Trump was getting out of office. She'd be like, "You got 3 more days." Like she had this countdown. It was like over 100 something days, and every day she would come and tag him, and be like, "Yeah, you got X amount of days left in office." It was hilarious. Like I have not seen her since those times.
I can't picture who I would want to play Ahmad.
Yeah.
I don't know. She didn't give enough of a description of him.
Yeah.
I kept
What's
saying
that one guy y'all like? Eldon Hodges.
Yes. Now, okay, I did.
I wouldn't mind seeing him behind a bar.
Albert.
Like,
Yes.
he can serve me a drink.
Yeah.
I I don't know why he was giving me short, but he was. And
I was picturing short and a little stocky.
I kept seeing, was it Daniel from Insecure? I kept seeing him as I was reading the book.
Yeah. Look,
I
I'm looking
was
at the cover. I'm
seeing
like,
like a younger version of, I think his name is Michael Jai White.
yes. Yeah.
I was picturing somebody like a younger version of him, like a little, because maybe she did give his height, because I was picturing like 5'9" ish, 5'10" ish, and a very like milky brown. Because I get really caught up like envisioning what the people look like and the outfits and all of that.
I saw Daniel the whole time for him. I don't know
I
why.
love Daniel. He can serve me a drink too.
Because I feel like at some point he said that he looked like the mom and she looked like the Asia looked like or some version of it. And I don't know why I was putting like the sister as more caramel tone and him as browner tone. I don't know. I might have made that up, but I saw Daniel the whole book. I never saw anybody for her necessarily. I did. I saw my cousin, but who is not an actress. But I totally saw Daniel.
Yeah.
Those are good choices.
He dressed really nice too. Like she had some outfits.
Yeah,
that's one thing
the
she got
fashion I
complimented on a
enjoyed when
lot.
she was describing her clothes.
Yeah. Even the cover, I love the
The
look.
cover is beautiful.
I think that's why
That
it made me
cover
think of
was
my cousin.
great.
Because my cousin has a yellow dress that shows up every curve.
Yeah.
Immediately was like, look at you.
Perfection. I
Yeah,
didn't even notice
I think that made people want to grab the book. So many people were drawn in by that cover.
cover. That'll do it. I was having a conversation with Maddie James last night, and she was talking about her journey with becoming an author and things like that, and that was one of the things was the cover. I guess there's flowers or something on her book, and she was like, I really wanted to put myself on the cover, representation, all of that. And then she's like, the publisher just really fought her on that, but she's like still kicking herself that she didn't put herself on there. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there is a trend when you're doing self-help and motivational books, like there's Black women on the book themselves. And I was like, yeah, I can see where you were going with that. But she was just saying like how a cover will make or break your book. That's a lot of times why you see these
About these flowers that like Kennedy Ryan was replacing all of her covers with. I'm tired of them damn flowers. Like y'all had amazing covers.
I know, especially real.
Publishers and everything is a flower.
Yeah. Between Colleen Hoover and that, I'm just like, I'm flowered out. Like enough is enough. Yeah.
And that's why you confuse them. Like I don't even know what I'm picking up. Like, is this the same book as, like you said, Colleen Hoover?
Yeah.
They're so similar. There's just,
There's another author that has a bunch of flowers on her books and they're popular, and I can't think of her name right now.
Not the Black woman must be exhausted.
It might be her name might be like no, but that's another one that
they have a bunch of flowers. Their covers. Colorful.
I feel like it's like Amy something. I'll have to look
Maddie's book always, and I can't think of the name of the other one. There's a book with a raccoon on the front.
What?
Wow.
It's a memoir, but it's something I always tie those two books together. It might be the font of the title on that book and then the font on Maddie's book, but I never put Maddie's book as a Black woman.
Wow.
Like I had seen it for a long time, and then somebody was trying, like you said, they're like, "Oh, do you know who Maddie James is?" And I'm like, I know the book, but that's a Black woman. Like I didn't know. Y'all know the book I'm talking about. It's like a lady's. I feel like it's her memoir, and it's got a raccoon on the front. It's like a comic. I'm gonna find it because y'all have seen it. It was popular.
Look, I was like, I need to know what this is.
I'm gonna find it.
It's
like everything's not okay or something like that. Oh, I gotta find it.
Yeah. A good cover will set
Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. Y'all have seen that book.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And Maddie's
Years
sorry,
ago.
Maddie's font looks like that.
That
And it just always made me go, I always just in my head, I've never read either one of them, but I associated, oh, I don't know.
You gotta love Google. I just Googled memoir with a raccoon on the cover,
And it came immediately
reaction
up.
became immediately up.
I
You
told
gotta
you.
love Google. You gotta love it.
oh, it's Lucy Score. That's the other one. I thought it was Amy something. Lucy
She
Oh,
does
has a
yeah.
have
lot of flowers on her books
Yep.
too. Yeah. Actually, every single one of her books has different type of flower on it. Wow. Yeah, I'm a little over that trend. Can move on. I do like the cartoon covers though. Those will always be a hit for me, but this one was absolutely gorgeous. I'd actually like to know who her. Oh, here it is. Cover design by Leslie Worrell and Kiosha Lipsy. So the cover illustration.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, now I want to look up, see what else they've done. Any other thoughts on the book?
I enjoyed it.
I
Same.
enjoyed it too.
I did too.
There were a lot of holler moments for me. Like I was like, and it was usually when Uncle Al was talking. I was like,
Yeah.
he didn't, but it was good.
I really wish Bernadette would have joined the call.
Girl, we will be
Bernadette did not finish this book.
Look, if you're
Bernadette
watching the replay, Bernadette, we miss you. I would have loved to have heard you.
Bernadette didn't get past the second page
When
of this
I read the
book.
first page, I was like, oh, Bernadette, close this damn book.
Hey, I gave her a warning at the last chat. I said,
But it was spicy and then it calmed down for a long time.
For a
Oh, yeah, it
very
was
long
really
time. Yeah, she
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
been fine.
When I first started reading it, I was like, oh, this is about to be super spicy, but it wasn't. I mean, it was the spicy moments were very spicy, but
Yes. Oh Lord, the
I
way I
love when she
literally
leads
laughed
off
the
with a
first
book
few
like
pages
that.
because of Bernadette. Like this
I did too. I was like, oh.
I can imagine her cussing cussing Renee out in her head.
And I if y'all remember the first 2 pages, I went and pulled out a ruler. I was like, no.
I just spit my drink out. Hilarious. Was a good
Yeah, it's
read.
funny because like I've read her entire catalog, almost everything I've read twice, but her other book, Sweatpants Season, the
Oh.
cover caught a lot of people because it's just gray
But
sweatpants,
goes to
but
Google.
it's not spicy. And it's kind of, I don't know how to, it doesn't read like a Black person wrote it, like her more like her later books, like her early books. I always feel like she was going for a different target audience. And so I think people went in expecting Sweatpants Season to be spice,
Spicy.
and it wasn't. And I've seen like some negative reviews about it. And I'm like, I hope that some of those people who were looking for that have come back and read some of her later work where she's evolved into knowing what type of person she is and, who she wants her audience to be.
Yeah.
But I even thought like Sweatpants Season was going to be just wild because it's
Super
gray
spice.
sweatpants on the cover.
Was it the
Spice on
one where the
steroids,
guy
right?
was a painter? Was somebody a painter or a photographer?
Yeah. There was like 2 books in the series.
Okay, yeah, I did
And-
read those and I thought it was
And there was
spicy.
like
It wasn't.
the guys and obnoxious guys that had a podcast or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people complain about how they went in with that cover thinking it was going to be like how this book started out, just bang, like right in your face. And it's not like that at all.
It wasn't at
Wow.
all. You're right. It wasn't.
So for those of you who are Danielle Allen fans, this was a first for me. I greatly liked it. So what else would you recommend from her catalog? to go to next?
I always, always, always tell people to start with Truth or Dare. That's one of my comfort reads. One is very fun. It's very spicy. It
Okay.
has that amazing friend group dynamic that I like.
Yep.
But the other thing is it's not very long. I think it's less than 200 pages.
Okay.
But absolutely, Truth or Dare gets me every time. It's such a fun read.
Looking it up now. Okay, cover another more sweatpants.
Yeah,
She brought up
Kingston is a
sweatpants.
book bae. He's
Buddy over
one of
here
my
looking
favorite
like,
book
what's tonight's
boyfriends.
Okay.
Oh, and then I
Yeah,
like
I like that
Love.
one.
The
Insta Love.
That was good.
Okay.
I read that one.
I liked it. It's not a favorite for me. Her Women of, I think it's called The Women of V. It's a series. It's kind of a thriller, like a mystery series. I really like that one. My first Danielle Allen book was Broken Clocks. That one is a tearjerker. That one will have you like crying in your beer. And
Oh,
I've read it twice and cried both times.
She has a book, and Brooklyn Mosley, who I read a lot of Brooklyn Mosley books. They both have a book with the same thing, that Broken Clocks. And so I refuse to read both of them. I will read everything. You're not about to have me over here boohooing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not for the
Also, if
reason that you're
anybody,
boohooing in those books. Like, no, I don't want to.
yeah, they're heavy. If anybody is into Edgar Allan Poe, which I'm not, Danielle is a huge fan. So she has a series of books that are Poe inspired, but she has strong Black female leads in them, but they're all loosely based on Poe's books.
Wow.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
good.
wow.
Yeah, I read the whole series. It was good.
Yeah, loved all of them. But like I said, I've never read Poe, but I loved all of those books.
Thank you for those. So like y'all know, I'm still on my journey with indie authors and discovering new things. And so I love to, although now Danielle has been put on a bigger platform, I still like to go back and read old works from authors when I find something. So
Yeah.
appreciate
Another book I really liked from her was Work Song. It's one of her older books, but that for a long time, that was my favorite book by her.
Okay. Adding all of these to the list.
Yeah, but like you know how I told you to read 1201 when you were on vacation? Truth or Dare is a good beach read. It's a good quick, just want to keep your Kindle streak going.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it's only like 175 pages, but I love that one. That's definitely one that I revisit like every 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Just because I'll read an old book to keep myself from falling into a reading slump, and it's one of my comfort reads.
Okay. What's the name of it again?
That Truth or Dare. That was the one with
That
Kingston
one. Okay.
on the cover.
There was another one that I think you just.
There was Work Song.
Yes.
Broken Clocks is the sad one.
Okay.
And then the Women of V, and then we talked about the Poe inspired books.
Just trying to add these to my list. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 1201 was very interesting.
Did you read the second book? The follow-up?
No, I haven't read. I don't even know if I knew there was a second one. I've read like the little extra chapters and stuff that she had, I think.
Yeah,
but yeah, that book was wild.
It's more like a novella, like the follow-up, I think.
Okay.
From what I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I want to say that was there. I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff like that she has in the ebook now, so you can kind of just click and it'll take you to. So I think I did read that. Like what happens to them after all of the. I don't know. I think I'm mixing stuff up. I don't know.
Yeah, what happens to them after?
Yeah, so I read
there's
that.
like
I read
that
the
extra
before.
one you could add on to find out what happened from the epilogue, like the 3 months or whatever amount of time it was in between.
Yep, I did read that. That book was spicy.
That's good.
My library is raggedy and only has Curvy Girl Summer.
Really? Let me check.
Even in deep
on Libby?
search. Even in deep search, there's one called Cuz. And then the rest of them are by like somebody who writes on democracy. I'm like, maybe it's the same thing. Yeah, Ellen, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. That's all they have for me too.
And she doesn't really do any audiobooks. I know Broken Clocks is on audio. That's what made me go back and listen to it years later, but she doesn't really have any audiobooks besides that. And Curvy Girl Summer. I'm not even sure if Insta Love was on audio.
I think so.
Wow. Audiobooks are the experience.
Yeah. I think at some point she'll be able to venture into that. Her holiday series would would be fun to add because they're short. They're all novella length, but each like holiday, like I always tease her about, she has an Easter book that is so spicy. And I'm like, only you could have made a spicy Easter book.
Easter book,
But
right?
I love her hot holiday hookups. Because she has a character named Zola Patterson who is in a lot of her, like, Zola is like some sort of journalist or something. And so she has a series of asking random people to submit what was your hottest holiday hookup. And she does like Groundhog Day, Juneteenth, like all of them. She has a spicy story for people to tell. But then she gave Zola her own set of books also. And so her story is like really good too. But the hot holiday hookups, I like those because I'll typically just sit and read them on my lunch break because they're all short.
Short. I have to remember that.
Yeah. She has another book called Disasters in Dating, I think is what it's called. And it gives the same feel of this woman going through dating apps trying to meet someone. But the fun thing about that one is there's two alternate endings. So you add on. And I read both, of course, but it comes down towards the end of the book. She's trying to decide between two different guys. And the two alternate endings are what would have happened if she would have chose each guy.
How's that? That's actually a cool like book concept. Wow.
Yeah, that one was fun. That's one I always say I'm gonna read again. I have not read that one twice, but I definitely will go back to it because it was really good and it was very authentic of the frustration of dating.
That's cool. Did you have one ending that you preferred over the other?
Yeah, I remember there was one guy that I really, really liked, and I was like, oh, I hope she chooses him. But then you get to the end and find out you could pick which guy. So I read both.
Yeah, just to see what happens if she chose the other. Awesome. What's everybody reading right now?
Jamal,
I'm reading a book that you loved, The Unhoneymooners.
Oh, by
I'm almost
Christina
done
Lauren?
with it. Yeah.
I am so shocked that you're reading Christina Lauren right now. Did you see my face? I'm just, wow.
Only because I guess I saw it so much. Like I know I went through and added a bunch of books on Libby off of reviews I saw on TikTok, and it must have been a TikToker I liked. Must have reviewed it. So I had it for a while, and I kept putting it off because I was like, I'm not in the mood for this.
Yeah.
But I'm almost done with it. I only have like a few minutes left in it.
So you're liking it?
Up and down. There's parts I really like. I don't like enemies to lovers books, and I also don't like fake dating tropes. So
yeah,
there's times where I'm like, I knew I shouldn't have read this, but then there's other times like, oh, this is good. So it's been up and down for me.
It's funny because Christina Lauren's definitely, they're a pair of white authors that are like my go-to when it comes to romance and stuff like that. So I just finished The Paradise Problem, which you may not like because it is kind of a fake dating trope. So basically they got married so that there was something about student housing or whatever, but the only way that they could qualify for it is if they were married. So they kind of got married, lived there, and then got divorced or whatever. But he comes back in the picture like years later, and there's this whole thing. But that one was pretty good. I just read that last week. And then there's another one called Love in Other Words. That one made me cry. I probably will revisit, but that one was a real tearjerker. And I think the reason why I was drawn to that because I think the main woman character is a woman of color, I think. Which I was intrigued to see how they would pull that off. But it was good. I was not expecting that from you, Erica.
Yeah, when I went to add it on Goodreads, your review was one of the first ones that came up for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Renee like this one. So yeah, because I'm a mood reader, and if I do too much like psychological thrillers back to back, I need something kind of therapy sweet. And I normally do a young adult book, but I had that one, like I said, I had on Libby, so I was like, I have to go ahead and listen to it.
Is this the one where there's two books that Christina Lauren has that have like the word honeymoon in there. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out.
The other one is called something like the Honeymoon Crashers or something, which I did go ahead and request it because I'm like, if I start a series, I have to finish them. But this is the one where they're twin sisters and a sister, and everybody at the wedding gets sick from the bad fish.
And they have to, the best man and her have to go on the honeymoon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
the
I
one.
did read that one. Was like, I know there's two, so that is okay. So I need to read the other one because I kept getting confused when like the audiobooks were coming out. And I'm like, is this the same book? And they just like revamped it. Like I couldn't. So now I know there's a part two. So I've got to the honeymoon crusher. So I've got to go back and
I requested that on Libby today.
Amy, how are you liking? I heard you say you're reading Jamal, the IT guy.
The IT guy, yeah.
I am enjoying it.
That was really cute.
You posted that and I went and bought it that same day. Like after you posted it, I was like, everybody was like, oh, it's so good. I'm like, okay, here I go buying another one.
Yeah, that was my vacation read. I was reading that at the same time as what was the book that made me so mad? The author we all know, Omar Tyree's book Control. I think whatever it was called. I'm like, oh my gosh, this Omar Tyree book is killing me. So I kept putting it down and going back to Jamal, the IT guy, just to keep me going.
Hilarious.
I let that Omar Tyree lapse. It just kept getting all these bad reviews. I'm like, I'm not about to waste my time.
It was so bad.
Mama,
It's one of the worst books I read this year.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Wow.
And I got it from the library because I heard Erica talking about it and saw the bad reviews. I was like, let me just give it back so someone else can read it.
It's just so unreal. Like the main character is some sort of therapist, and she has these patients that are coming to her, and you never really know what their issue is, but she masterminds that each of these clients, she's going to get them to make a movie, and she's going to get the money from it. So one of her patients is a rapper, and so she's going to make her do the soundtrack. Then another one of her patients happens to be an actor, so he's going to be the lead in the movie. And she's like manipulating each of them to cross paths and to create this movie, but they don't know that she's linking them to these other people. Like none of it made sense. And then at the very end, there's a plot twist where you find out how she tricks them. And the plot twist was so awful. It was like the worst soap opera crap ever. But yeah, it didn't make sense. Like it was like, and it's set in Atlanta, so she's naming places, and it's like, well, why would they be doing that over there? Like, oh my, it was so hard to even stomach it. It just, the writing, it just was so juvenile and hard to believe.
Topeka.
Hi, Topeka.
Hey, girl.
Right.
I
Amy
just
here
came
with
to
2
say
minutes
hello
to
because I'm
spare.
super late.
No problem. We
I missed the
appreciate
whole
you
thing,
coming.
but I said I gotta say hello.
We appreciate you popping in.
Erica, it's funny you said soap opera because it made me think of, I think it was on Instagram, and one of them recently said, growing up watching soap operas, I thought amnesia was much more of a thing than it really turned out to be, because everybody had amnesia.
Everybody had amnesia.
That is
Right.
hilarious.
And it's something like that bizarre, the plot twist. I don't want to say in case any of y'all jump out there and read it, but it's like, I know you didn't. Like it felt like that.
Just looking at my
I did read a series, and that's one of the things that makes me mad. There's a series, it's a psychological thriller, but this guy has amnesia, and he gets flashbacks. Like he'll get these headaches, and then he'll see visions of himself killing people. But
Was that
now
the
he's like this
one?
upstanding. He's a journalist, and he's a super dad that goes to all his kids' softball games. But he knows in his past life, or like he lost like 10 years of memory or something bizarre like that, or it's been 10 years since he lost his memory, and so he's recreated his personality. But it went on for like 4 or 5 books with this man with this amnesia, knowing that he likely was a killer in his previous life. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
I thought that was the one I was thinking about, but there was another one that she said where everybody was a memory or a mistake, or like all of these alternate somethings were living out there. What was that one? You remember that one? You were telling us about
It was
it.
something I read.
Uh-huh. And you were like, and you had to finish it, but it was just, I don't know if it was like, I'm the lie that you told. Like every lie. Oh, I don't remember. I have to go
I
back.
think I something like that. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what book it is.
Yeah.
I have to look at my Instagram.
Like the consequence of whatever lie it was actually being lived out
Oh yeah, I know
somewhere.
what you're talking about. Oh, you know what it was? When we were trying to get the badge for the sci-fi and the speculative fiction,
Oh, okay.
and that's the only reason I did it, because we were trying to get that Kindle challenge. Yeah, and so everybody was a lie that someone else had told, and they were like that
Okay.
the manifestation of the lie.
Yeah. I remember. I kind of, that seems like I might kind of like it, but I don't know.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was worth getting the
Yeah.
badge for.
I'm trying to read from my list, and I moved. So my local book club, I was supposed to do the September book, but somebody had a conflict with August. And so I decided, I was like, oh, I'll do it. I'll do August because it's The Sweetness of Water, which was an Oprah pick. So it means there's a lot of stuff out there about it. And the other book, I was like, I never heard of this book. So I was like, oh, that'll at least give me a lot to be the moderator for the discussion. So I switched to that one. So I'm gonna read that one next. That's at the end of this month. Well, I think I'm gonna read that one next. I don't know. Y'all know how it gets. I have one I'm supposed to post on the 9th, Between Friends and Lovers. I think she had On Call or Shirley somebody. I don't have any.
Oh yeah, I
That
have
sounds
that from
familiar. Yeah.
the library. I haven't read it yet though.
So I might start that one. It's because since I have to post it on the 9th. I was like, well, that's 2 days. Let me at least read half of it before I have to post it.
I'm a mood reader, so who knows what I'm about to start.
I call myself making a list and I've been proud of doing my little strike throughs on my list. Like I read it. I said I was gonna read it.
I need to pick sugar back up. That's what I need to do.
Oh yes, you haven't finished Sugar?
No,
Oh.
it's not reason. I don't know what I ended up reading.
Oh, Asia, that book is so good.
No, it actually is good. I couldn't even tell you why I was like, oh, okay, I'll get to it again. It's only been a few weeks, like maybe a week or two. So yeah, actually, let me finish that.
Yeah.
Asia, did you read Lilith by Alexandria House?
I did.
I'm struggling. I've been reading it for more than a week, and I want to throw it out the window, but I'm committed to finishing it. I hate it so much.
Okay, it was not her best work. It definitely was not.
I struggle with those taboo love stories, like falling in love with your kidnapper and stuff like that, or somebody keeping holding you against your will. I don't think that's sexy, and I'm really struggling, but I'm determined to finish it because it's her book.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that trope. I just think that it was not her best work. It just really wasn't. I think that's why she quickly put it on KU.
Kindle Unlimited, yeah.
Oh, it's on my list.
I see a lot of those TikToks about like dark romance and romantasy and all of that. And I feel like, that was her version of it. And I'm like, okay, this is not a genre that I like.
Yeah, it's just all right. but I finished because it's hard. So
Topeka, you said you liked it?
No, I said it's on my list, and that
Oh.
does not encourage me.
It's just
Because
a
I
struggle
wondered when
for
I read the
me.
description, but then I think I saw that Erica was reading it. I said, okay, maybe it's okay. Yeah.
you know, we
Lady
have
says,
those all
it's
read authors,
okay.
and she's one of
Yeah.
those. So
Yeah, I just struggle. She's had a couple of books that I felt like the men were controlling and almost in a caveman sort of way. And I'm like, this is not sexy to me. This isn't love to me. And that's how I keep feeling like you can't romanticize someone being held against their will. Like this is
I
a
wondered.
crime. And I'm
you
struggling
over
with
there
that.
being literal. This is a crime.
Right. And you know, the book is not that long. So every day I go, okay, today's the day I'm gonna finish it. It's been about 2 weeks. I have not finished. I think I'm only a third of the way through it.
Oh. That's funny.
Good chat, ladies. Glad most everyone liked the book.
What's next?
Hurricane Summer.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A lot of y'all
Oh
recommend.
yeah,
I've
I
had
gotta
this book
reread
forever.
that.
Yeah, I've had this book forever. It's been sitting for years, but a lot of you recommended it on something. There was a post not too long ago. And so I was like, okay, well, now's the time to go ahead and add that to our lineup because I've wanted to
I
read it
think
as
you'll
book
like
club.
it.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent, but it's the type of book that I always say that it's a Renee book. Like there's certain books I read and I'm like, oh, she'll like this. I think you'll like it. It's heavy though.
Yeah.
It's definitely heavy.
I love that. I'm excited for it.
I got my remote control. I love it.
How much did y'all get it for the $6 or $7, whatever it was?
I got it for $6. Yeah, $6.49.
Yeah, I got it for $6. I didn't open mine. It came today, but I didn't open it.
I like it.
I didn't need it. Like
it's super. No, but you do. It's super lazy. Like
No.
I like laid on the couch like sideways like this and had it propped and just.
I know it was awesome, and like with the Oasis, it fits perfect. Like if you put it on the side with the page turn, it fits perfectly to just. You don't have to pull it back or anything like that. It fits perfectly. But I was like, now I need a stand to have this thing. And then I'm trying to figure out what kind of stand, because I've seen the people with like the snack bowl and then the stand that go, but I'm like, do I want that or do I want the one that's like the floor stand that I can put next to my bed and just levels of laziness right now. So I'm trying to figure.
I was looking at the one that's like a little pillow.
Yeah.
And then it's got a little cup.
The stand with the snack bowl. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because I could put that on the nightstand too, like, and just lay on my side and read it, or I could have it sitting on my lap.
No, that one was $50.
Leah sent me that one today. While she should have been in class, she sent it to me on Instagram and said, "We need this." So I was like, "I'm gonna just buy it for her for Christmas." But I was like, "How did she even find out about this?"
Right.
I'm very much looking forward to like when it gets cold, because then I can be under with a blanket.
It's perfect. So I'm definitely gonna have to get
it's gonna be so perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a stand now. Now that
it
you
is
said
so
that,
lazy, but it's so good.
Yep.
I thought just the buttons on the Oasis was lazy enough, and now
Me too. And then I'm like, why do I need this clicker? And then I used it the other day and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like even just sitting in the office, like I had my Kindle on a stand or whatever, and I was just sitting in my chair, like Olympics on one side and book on the other. And I was just
I had Alexa reading it, and I'm on the couch and just laying like on the arm of the couch, and I was just click, click as she was reading. Oh, now she's talking to me. I'm not sure how to help you with that. I didn't ask you anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it for $25, but when for me it came up 10, and then for y'all it came up even cheaper. But I was like, for $10, yeah, I'm buying it.
That was worth it for $5.
That's a steal. So
yep.
Awesome. Glad it worked out. I know a few of us talked about that Real World, the challenge. Like I think it starts today. Like right now.
Oh, I meant to ask
Well,
you
yeah,
when it
it's
was
like
coming
the
on.
eras, right? And I keep seeing it advertised as starting Wednesday. Like they have a sponsored ad and it's popped up all day today. So I'm like, do you mean today or are you talking about next week, but I think it started at 8, so I'm about to jump off and go watch it. But I think it's on for those of y'all who are talking about watching it. It's all the old school peeps that we like from the challenges for decades that
Old
we've
people.
watched. You know, CT, you got, Darrell, Anissa, all of those, like they're there. So I think it's gonna be good to watch. Johnny Bananas. So yeah, I'm about to pop off and do that. But thank y'all as always for joining the chats. Be back in a month with
Kids too.
summer. Yeah,
All right, thanks.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
You
You too.
too.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Bye.